And guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and spread this channel everywhere. Doesn't cost you anything to like and subscribe.
Welcome to Key Stock and Crypto Channel.
And we had stocks down again today. And most likely they're going to be down tomorrow because we do get September jobs report. We know they like to talk it up. We're starting to see these rate increases affect the job growth. And we know these numbers are never correct anyway. But guys, we got cannabis stocks get a pump after Biden's pardons in D.C. And we know they like to put on a show for midterms. But don't forget, guys, Tilray, Canopy, and we know the big players are going to be in it. Of course, is CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. Those are going to be the big hidden players. And we know Democrats have their agenda. Republicans have their agenda. Republicans want to legalize cannabis, and it's definitely going to happen. And there will be a lot of consolidation in the space. It already has been a lot of consolidation, but we have one more phase to go, and these stocks are going to pop. Now, we do have the Fed going to be raising rates on the 1st and 2nd. We know all these stocks are going to be taking a pullback, but these stocks are very cheap, and they're definitely going to pop. Now, we have Elon Musk constantly in the news, says PepsiCo to take delivery of Tesla semi-electric trucks on December 1st. And we know eventually these trucks are going to be driverless. And we know Google's Waymo is already testing the big rigs in Texas. Now we have another company warning of a weaker third quarter. We have AMD, the chip maker, says that revenue is weak. And guys, we know these chip makers are going to go through a slight storm, but we know in order for the fourth industrial revolution to work, they must have these chip makers. Now we have Verizon wins a 10-year, $1.5 billion contract from the State Department to modernize U.S. embassies. And we know Verizon is going to be a big piece in the 5G and then also a great dividend stock. And with this type of contract, it keeps the stock consistent. Now we have United Airlines. It's aiming to have an electric plane flying by 2030. Now, you know me, I definitely don't believe that, unless they're talking about the ones that fly in your house. But guys, we know automation is coming. Every job on the globe is going to have some type of assistance with automation or robots. Now, we have former SEC Chair Jay Clayton joins American Express board. And then lastly, guys, going over the indicators, we had yields up. That's the reason why the market was down. We had the dollar slightly up, pulled back a little, but it was slightly up. And we had the VIX up. And guys, tomorrow we're going to see how they play the jobs report. And that's going to let us know which way the market is going. Now, that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful day.
Big news in the cannabis space today. President Biden pardoning thousands of people convicted of marijuana possession and ordering a review of federal pot laws. The pardons applying to federal offenders and anyone convicted in D.C., but the president has also called on governors across the country to do the same. The news sending pot stocks skyrocketing. Are we jumping to conclusions, Tim?
Well, let's understand the dynamics here. We're talking about criminal justice. This is different than federalization. This is different than stuff that's going to get them listed on exchanges and the things that the capital markets really want. Investors want that. But it's very important that this is incremental. And what's very important about this announcement is, first of all, this wasn't made in a vacuum. This to me is an announcement in close conjunction with something that will follow in the Senate, which we've been talking about in the cannabis space forever. SAFE Act, safe banking, to the extent that in a lame duck session, there's been plenty of conversations that there could be something that happens. I'm not going to tell you it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that there's no question to me this wasn't just a statement made in a vacuum. The other most important thing about what he said is he alluded to the schedule and the Schedule 1 status of cannabis and that it's the same as heroin and LSD. That dynamic, you remove that dynamic and you make the profitability of this sector night and day different. So free cash flow, things that have been, look, the big headwinds for the sector have been about gross margin and the illicit markets and things that are a function of the federal market. But this gets right to, if you get rid of 280E, which is essentially the tax code that the IRS would apply to any Schedule 1 or illegal activity, and you remove that, it changes free cash flow dynamics for the sector. So it's a very, very exciting day. It was a long time in coming. This wasn't whimsical, and criminal justice is critical to get actually other people in the Senate than to be on board.
No, you've been waiting for this. People have been tweeting about it over the last couple of weeks. I mean, this is Tim can speak to this, but this is one of those seminal moments in the space that years to come we'll talk about this day when it all changed. Now, MSOS, I think, is one of the ETFs. You obviously have one as well, Tim, but I'm not saying you go out and chase these things because I'm sure there's going to be some ebbs and flows, but I think the space for the first time in a while, you're not going to see that downward air gap volatility like you've seen over the last couple of years. I think now it's investable for a period of time.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. It's kind of a brilliant political move. This was a campaign promise by Biden a couple years ago, and the timing of it, I mean, let's just
before the midterms?
Yeah, people like this stuff.
All right.
Stay in school, kids. Don't.
The pandemic is taking a toll on nurses across the country, and many say they're still feeling the effects. Extreme burnout, exhaustion, and so much stress. Now, one CEO says she has a solution: robots. CNBC's Andrea Day reports on a startup's creative way to give hospital staff a helping hand.
Pardon me. May I get to that spot, please?
Meet Moxie, the robot.
Hello.
A high-tech nurse's helper rolling through hospitals around the country.
You'll see Moxie turning the corner, and some patients and families are all turning heads trying to figure out, what this is.
The bot, developed by Austin startup Diligent Robotics.
We did not design Moxie to replace nurses. We actually are really focused on taking on some of the mundane tasks that fall onto clinicians' plate that can be automated.
Like delivering meds and collecting lab samples.
I have a delivery.
Programmed to lessen the load on overworked nurses, many of them pushed to the brink during the pandemic.
What we did start seeing is definite burnout in our staff. They were tired, taking care of patients who were sicker than they've ever seen before, and patients dying, many.
The chief nursing officer at Mary Washington Hospital in Virginia has 3 Moxies now helping out her team.
We found that there were many things that nurses do that really don't require a nurse.
I'm here to pick something up.
We bring the Moxie robots in, and they have to learn the environment by demonstration.
Moxie uses an AI navigation system and a robotic arm to help navigate doors and elevators.
We need Moxie to either deliver something to us or pick something up from our unit to deliver elsewhere. We can call it on the kiosk.
In minutes, Moxie responds to the call, loads up, and rolls away to deliver meds to another part of the hospital.
I think it's really kind of lifted a weight off of some nurses' shoulders, that they don't have to leave their sick patient that they're monitoring to go do these little tasks.
Doman says all of Moxie's errands around the hospital have logged more than 100 miles. Miles her nursing team didn't have to walk themselves.
That's sizable. That's had an impact.
And Shep, Doman wouldn't talk about how much the hospital pays for Moxie, but did say it's a monthly service fee based on hours worked. And they see so much value in little Moxie. Get this, they're planning to add a 4th one to the fleet.